community meeting. That's the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Okay, we primarily do three things. One is we educate. As an example, this week we also offer classes for caregivers that have a loved one with mental illness. Those are very helpful to those family members. So if you're interested in class, see roads that take out here. We also do advocacy. If this meeting qualifies for that. We also offer support groups. Those are three things that we do. Okay? This evening is a little unique. It's a legislative forum, and I'm going to pass this to our moderator, who's coming up here. So David Van Riesingham is going to tell you the rules of this evening and how this is going to work. So David.
All right.
Yikes.
One mic or another, right? Okay. I'll stay away from that one. I want to welcome everybody tonight. Our special guests tonight, we have 4 of them here. You only see 2 of them. Let me tell you, when you're a legislator and they decide to have Thursday afternoon sessions, and you've got to be back here in Tulsa, it is a little bit of a logistics issue. So we've got 2 of them here. The other 2, I just called one. He says, I'm just getting off the turnpike. And so when you see Scott McEachin come up, he'll be here. Regina Goodwin, both of those are state reps here. They'll be part of it. And Katie Hankey has had called saying she was at a leadership meeting in the House and has to stay. So, Senator Joe Newhouse, why don't you give him a warm welcome? And Representative Eric Proctor. What we'd like to do now is give them each a couple of minutes to introduce themselves and share what's really on their heart before we get into the questions you have. Now, if you raise your hand, that means you have a question, but you will be given a card. And we'd like you to write that card down, and then when you get done, just hold it up, and one of our good ushers will pick it up from you and get it up here so that we can get more questions asked and answered tonight. So while you're doing that, I'm going to turn it over to Senator Newhouse.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave, for hosting, my good friends. Before I get started, I'd like to introduce a few other deputies also in the room. Ben Kimbrough, Tulsa City Council member. Ben, thank you for being out here, sir. Brenda and Nami Teeman, that's welcome also. And I'd like to introduce somebody special to me, Janet Cezak. She is my go-to person when it comes to mental health. Here's the thing, I recognize that as a legislator, you're not going to know everything that's going on. You got to have a good team, and she's one of the primary members of my team. When I have questions, I go to Janet. So Janet, thank you for being out here too. It is a pleasure to be with you, and I'm a new senator, and actually I enjoy working with Eric Proctor. I actually work on several bills together. I work for different political parties, but here's the thing, the bottom line is that we want to do what's best for the state. Whether that's for our economy, the bills that we are working on, or mental health. These are not partisan issues. Let's work together to find the best solutions for the best way forward. That's why we're here tonight, and I want to say thank you for being out here. My history with mental health goes back to when I was 8 years old. Kind of a strange story. I love playing sports, and as you know, a lot of times in sports, the coach always had you do a fundraiser, right? Which I always hated. I hated to go to where they were selling things. Well, every year we would sell candy bars, and my cute little sister, she could sell her candy bars, no problem. But then it'd take me like all day long to sell my candy bars. Well, one day I got to the other neighborhood, the very far side of it, almost selling candy bars, ring the doorbell. As an 8-year-old kid, a lot of times the door opens, you're looking up, right, for the adult. But this time I wasn't looking up, I was looking straight ahead. And this gentleman was in a wheelchair, and he was wearing his fatigues. This is very likely Vietnam fatigues. And I felt very awkward. He invited me, I spluttered out my spiel to sell the candy bar. Fortunately, he said yes, he's going to buy one, because it's awkward. I wanted him to say no with everybody else, like, you're moving on. I was exposed to people in the wheelchair, but I was exposed to people who had like PTSD, like he had, kind of find out. So he wheels me into the house, and immediately, even as I go ahead, I recognized that this was not his house. This was Aunt Gertrude's house. There were curio cabinets and fine, dishes and knickknacks everywhere. This was not a combat veteran, his house. It was just kind of awkward setting there, but he was very gracious. I could tell something was a little amiss, as a little kid. And that experience has struck with me for years and years and years. And now when I think back to that story, I realize that, and this was 1985, so this is a good, 10 years, 12 years after leaving back from Vietnam, very likely every day he got up and put the uniform on. Even though he was physically out of the battlefield, his mind was still on the battlefield. Don't get me wrong, this is one component for mental illness, right? Some PTSD. But this is what helped spark my interest towards that. I'm a military combat veteran myself. I have friends go through this. And that all just helped spark my interest in this area. Fast forward a few years, I was working part-time for Congress Einstein. That's where I first got to know Eric Proctor, because we worked on several things together in that regard too for veterans care. And that led me to the Community Service Council of Tulsa, going to many of their functions, where I got to learn the greater breadth of the mental health issues. And so from that standpoint, I got to meet Janet a little later on, but I really got that great exposure to see what families struggle with. And unfortunately, we still have that stigma in our society that we need to bottle up mental health issues, which is not the complete opposite of what we need to do.
Thank you.
We need to bring this to surface, bring this to awareness, so we can treat this. And so that's why I'm here tonight. I would love to talk to you further about this, but I'm so excited to work with you. We should have smiles talking to this, because I think it's going to be a good day. We've got a positive future to help with this, much better than our previous generations. So it's a pleasure to be with you tonight, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Eric Proctor. I serve as State House Representative in Northeast Tulsa. I've been with Senator for 11 years, so I'm in my final term. And Senator, I still learn new things every day in the legislature. It's the people that get up there and think they already know everything that you got to worry about, more than having to learn. But prior to being elected, I taught high school economics and high school government in Tulsa Public Schools. The son of two retired educators. My father taught for 22 years at Greeley Elementary, which is as far as north on Cincinnati as you can go in Tulsa. And my mother taught special ed for 29 years. And I get a lot of my compassion and a lot of my worldview from my mother. My mom is a caregiver for her brother who suffers with mental illness. And we actually, the Equality Center in Tulsa has done some amazing things for our family. With working with my mom and my family when she was struggling. But I'm here excited to listen, excited to learn. I would say just one point, a lot of the bills that Joe and I are working together on are revenue bills. And we can't have services if we don't have the ability to invest in core functions. And so we're going to be working together as much as we can from across the aisle to bring people together. Joe and I are already working together, but we need our colleagues to work together as well. So, just here, excited to be here, Dave. Thank you for inviting me. And very much looking forward to the rest of you.
All right. Thank you. The first question is a simple yes or no, but feel free to elaborate with politicians. I know you can. It says, do you support the use of jails as mental health treatment facilities, even for people who committed no crimes, when the state mental hospitals are full?
Jails should be our last resort for any types of mental health issues, David. We have so many great challenges here, and I'm proud of the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office. The tour that he took me on, the Deputy Sheriff Robinette, seeking new mental health pods. It's a great first step forward. focus on increasing our footprint for treatments and increasing the number of beds and transportation to beds, right, Ellen?
You bet.
As we talked about. And I've heard a rumor that in our great state we only have 300 beds allocated for these types of hospitalization. That is completely unacceptable.
You're here.
That number needs to be much higher. Around the country, that number is much higher. I hope that's just a pure rumor. Absolutely. That's just completely unsatisfactory, unacceptable. We can do so much better. And also, we're focusing on human dignity here. We're focusing on the cost savings. As Eric mentioned, some of the revenue things we need to focus on as we provide report services. Well, this is, in effect, helping those cost savings by incarceration. That's very expensive. It's a last resort. It hurts families, and we have an over-abuse of our criminal justice system as far as overly incarcerated.
I would echo the Senator's comments. Very much agree with that. My faith teaches me that all life has value, and that we need to be investing in making sure that it's not just something that we talk about on Sundays. That's something that we put our money where our mouth is, our money where our heart is, to make those types of investments. I will say that it's an easy, for me, it's an easy question to answer. Do you support, if you're against that or not, do you support making further investments? But the harder questions are, how are you going to support it? How are you going to find the revenue? How are you going to make the investment that we talk about, whether it's mental health or education or infrastructure or public safety. I'm hoping that both parties will come together in this legislative session, and with a $900 million budget deficit, we're going to have to, or we'll be doing a service to people.
All right. I would like to introduce Representative Scott McEachin, the one who is on the turnpike when we come to the Here you go. Introduce yourself, and then go ahead and give your crack at the answer. Okay.
Well, I am Scott McEachin, and I've used this joke a lot, but it's really relevant tonight. I for years have referred to myself as Daddy's late husband. So, I knew that you wanted me to attend. I was unaware of the format.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have left open seats. House District 67, just south of my good friends, the teams over there, as you Sharif peeking out behind them. So, heart of South Tulsa is the way I describe it. In 81st down to 111th, Yale over to Garnett. That's the basic part of the city that or state that I was in. Supporting they're turning a jail into a mental health facility is in and of itself at least a juxtaposition in terms. And once I tell this story, and I'm not going back to anecdotes because it was really a moment that was significant to me. And on election day, as a candidate, you're kind of at loose ends. I mean, there's no more campaigning. My wife and I were having dinner, and one of the people in the next booth they were talking about 780, 781. They said that it's treatment. And so now what we've got is a very clear understanding that the era of lock them up and throw away the key, them being too broadly defined, that the era of incarceration is over. And now we need to do treatment facilities, but that raises the challenges that I heard my colleagues talking about as I walked in. Obviously, it's a huge revenue challenge. And the way that you go about providing the necessary services to the people who really need them is always going to be a revenue challenge. I mean, in the good years and the bad years, it's going to be more of a challenge in the bad years, but it's going to be a challenge in the good years too. I mean, oil could be $148 a barrel tried to attend every mental health, behavioral health thing I could find, and that's why I told you the story about the woman at the restaurant. Is that there's this great public expectation that we are going to hugely change the paradigm, and that's going to happen on July the 1st, 2017, whether we want it to happen that day or not. It's coming at us like a freight train. And so I have seen, I've been to Creox, I've been to, especially just the way that the schedule of tours has worked out. I've seen 3 different elements of the disabled, the DD class, developmentally disabled. Center of Family Love in McEachin, Home of Hope in Bonita, and then Central. It's referred to as Central States. It's a long acronym. I have not mastered. To me, the thing that I've seen work most effectively is this: are the facilities like Center of Family Love or Home of Hope, where it's not the same. It's the same facility, but it's not the same treatment for everybody in it. In other words, you may have people that are essentially in a dorm, which is not a facility. You may have people in a group home, which is not exactly a home, but it's not a facility. And then you have people living with the assistance of care providers in apartments. Home of Hope and Center of Family Love both have a work element to the treatment. And I know that in Tulsa, which is the only urban setting I've seen it so far, some of the people have jobs and they do go to work. Now, I've said a lot and maybe I haven't said anything yet. But those have to be mental health facilities. The one thing I did ask one of the people at Creox was, if it's a mental health bed and it just happens to be in the same place where you incarcerate, for July of 2017 or August of 2017 or September of 17, as long as we change the protocol, until we can have time and resources to build separate mental health facilities, then we're going to have to see if we can't work through this. For example, I've toured the new mental health jail pod, and it's excellent, but it's attached to the jail. But it's not jail.
It comes with the police record.
And I think that's a different 3x5 part of it, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So let me go back to say, no, I do not believe it's ever proper to use a jail as such as a mental health facility.
All right.
But we do have challenges.
Good. Okay. Thank you. I do want to make up for a mess up. I forgot to introduce you to my co-moderator tonight, Pastor Michael Stick of Pastor Gloryland Baptist Church in Broken Arrow. He's been a very active part of our CIT training. And Pastor Stick, you have the next question.
I don't get a mic like his. I have to use a stand. So. Mark Costello, the State Labor Commissioner, said to mental health advocates at the Capitol Rotunda, "We must be humane and we must be understanding, and understand that society cannot ignore this problem, and if it does so at its own peril." Only 116 days later, Commissioner Costello was dead after his son, Christian Costello, 26, allegedly stabbed him. Family wealth was not what the Costellos lacked. What they did lack was a state infrastructure committed to treating the mentally ill comprehensively with the authority of state law and court adjudication. Before I ask the question, I would just like to say that a very similar thing happened in my family. 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, my then 20-year-old son suffered psychotic break from undiagnosed bipolar I disorder. And at that point, he stabbed his mother, my wife, and killed her almost instantly. So this question is very dear to my heart, as well as everyone here. Is there any political will in state government to correct course and protect our families who care for their ill loved ones?
Pastor, thank you for sharing that. It's not something easy to say in the public forum. More elected officials need to hear those stories, frankly. I'm sure the only one they've ever heard is the Proctor tragedy. Is there political will to do it? We're going to find out here in the next 10 weeks at the state legislature. We've had multiple years of record budget deficits and revenue failures. And so if you ask someone, is there a will to make investments in mental health? Yes. Is there a will to cut tax credits for some of the most wealthy corporations in America to pay for it? Not among everybody. And we're going to find out if there's enough there to do it. Is there a will to reverse course in some of the fiscal policies that have got us in the mess we're in order to make investments in mental health? I hope so. There better be. Or we went from a $7.2 billion budget deficit to a $7.2 billion budget to a $4.8 billion budget in a matter of 5 years, something like that. Where a lot of agencies have received 40% budget cuts. And so, unfortunately, there are a lot of legislators who it's the last person to pick about to eat. It's the person that wrote a $250 or $500 campaign check that they look out for. And they don't know or they don't hear from enough constituents to outweigh that. And I'm termed out, so I can say things like that. and that's not a one-party issue. That is a both parties struggle with that, both on the state and the national level. So my hope is that we will have a real conversation about over $2.5 billion of tax credits that we give away with icing on top of icing to some of the most wealthy corporations in America. Not just one or two groups, but put them all on board. Cascade some of those, which is a bill that Representative Newhouse and I authored together, which was calling for that type of effort. So my hope is that more conversations we have like this, the more times you have a Republican and Democrat saying we may not agree on everything, but we do agree that our fiscal house is broken and needs to be fixed.
Pastor Michael, thank you for sharing that story. My heart feels for you, sir, what you and your family have gone through. And talking with Kathy Costello, I'm really proud of Kathy Costello as well. She is out there in the front lines constantly sharing this. I know the team knows the Costellos pretty well too. And she's out in the front lines sharing her story. And I can't imagine how hard it has to be. We've lived that every time she tells the stories. But she's that committed. And I want to help shoulder that burden with her, with you, Michael, with all society, with all of you who have loved ones affected by this. That's what we're up here to do as your representatives. Very proud to represent you. As far as what we can do from the state government perspective, yes, that's really that bill that Eric mentioned. And in addition to that, I've co-authored a bill, Senate Bill 692, with Senator A.J. Griffin. And I've been seeking her advice too. She's very much a senator on the forefront of advancing mental health. What Senate Bill 692 does is this creates the vehicle to take the savings from state budget 781 and apply those back. And right now there are, as you mentioned, there's people on the Hill who are trying to overturn 781 or kind of redirect the will of people, which I do not want to do the opposite of that. And 692 is the bill that is going to redirect this funding, the savings from 781 back where it belongs. So she and I are working together, and ask for your support in that. I may or may not be your senator, and these two gentlemen may or may not be your representatives, but please talk to your representatives and your senators. Tell them to support 692. And also, I'll leave on this note, yesterday I voted for Senate Bill 229, also by Senator Griffin. What 229 does is it finally opens up mental health treatment access to our juveniles and juvenile facilities, which, as many of you know, has been cut off for years. That shocks me. At a time when we've really reached out to teenagers going through these challenges, we're just now finally getting to that. So I think there's a will by many of us, by all of us,
first big step today. And that is that we ended the wind energy credits effective July 1st, 2017. And I want to applaud, I think perhaps it was an unusual day for Representative Proctor and me. I think our names are the same color on two bills, although if I'm wrong on the credit one. But at least as far as the straight vote on Representative Biggs, the rollback. I hope I didn't get a lot of tweets today that said that I voted for drugs. But treatment, and again, my guys are in that public perception that we are going to go from incarceration to treatment. And I'm on it. So we did take, and I think that's a huge step to stop the zero emissions credit at the end of this fiscal year. Now it'll have a fiscal impact that runs out because we had made commitments, but and credit the wind energy and industry. The report is that some of them were not just overjoyed, but they came to the table. They understand that we have to change the revenue picture in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and Mike Cantrell last year, oil production gave pretty much the same call, and that's just some of the corporate citizens. You know that. I've got an announcement. The coach is in the house. Dave Rader, Senator Rader. Thank you. Have a seat there. I'm going to give Senator Rader just a moment to introduce himself and share a couple of thoughts, and then we're going to go right into the next question.
Thank you. I'm David Rader. I'm honored to represent District 39 in Tulsa, and welcome to 39 if you don't live in this district.
Your house.
See, this is our district right here, so we welcome you to it, and I thank you for the invitation, and feel honored to be in such an excellent company right now.
All right. We'll give you the next question. All right. Baptism of fire.
Senator, that's your initiation.
Now, the Oklahoma Constitution mandates a public network of psychiatric hospitals, Eastern State, Central State, and Western State. How much of the current mental health budget is devoted to operating those three hospitals, or the network as it's transformed? And does the legislature ever mandate a line item funding on public mental health beds, or should the legislature?
I don't know how much is dedicated to it. I've been able to read that part of the budget. It's in the Constitution, it's our responsibility, and we need to take that responsibility and do the best job possible for Oklahomans.
All right. Any others?
While you're transferring the money, the one thing I want to pick up is if the Constitution mandates mental hospitals, we are moving away from the mental hospital model. So in that sense, the Constitution needs to be modernized. In other words, it's my understanding that working away from Western State, Central State, and Eastern State is a huge goal. And again, if I could have given you the FY16 number for those three institutions, I would worry about myself.
Yeah.
But I don't know the exact number. But I do understand the importance of the commitment, but in a much more modern way.
Absolutely. Okay. Next.
Well, this is kind of two parts issue because we're here to advance mental health, to reduce incarceration. There's a component to this that is the execution of our policies. I would like to take a very critical look at how the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse handles the proceeds from which the legislature has apportioned this agency. It's been over 2 decades since we've had a clear-cut audit of this agency, and I just want to find out more. I believe in transparency. I believe we as taxpayers want to know where our tax dollars are going. If we are not funding beds, the Department of Beds budgets appropriately. I want to know about that. I demand to know about that. It really is that is unacceptable. I mentioned that beforehand. And so if that does require a line item in our budget, then so be it. But we need to get to the bottom of this and find out for sure. Because people's lives are at stake. Families are at stake. This is our society. And as your fiduciary, we want to do our best to drill down this and find out what those answers are. Thank you, David.
Proctor?
David, there was a time, maybe 07, 08, where we did line item, and we would spend 2 or 3 different days, largely because Representative Reynolds made it last longer, but we would spend 2 or 3 days voting on every single budgetary item, line by line, all the way through the process. And I think that is honestly, it's a longer way to do things. I think it's a better way to do things. To give you an example, not last term, but the term before that, I served on the Appropriations and Budget Committee, which I'm on this year as well. And literally, the state budget was brought out, printed versions of it, still warm from the copier, and we voted on it 10 minutes later. And the next, within 48 hours, we're voting on the floor of the House with maybe an hour and a half of questioning and 30 to 45 minutes worth of debate.
You read the whole bill, though, right?
So I think it's much better if we were to go to a line item budget where you can ask questions on the floor of the House on every agency. I think Speaker McCall has done a good job of opening up the appropriation and budget process better than past speakers. But I still think we can do a better job of opening the budget process up to where it's not just a yes or no vote on $4.8 billion, and it should be agency by agency.
And David, if I could add 2 more points to echo Representative Proctor's report. We've been told that each of the A and B subcommittees should be prepared to very carefully go through each line item in their respective areas. And like I said, we started earlier, and we do have a process in place to dig deeper. And the idea that we have so much of the state spending on autopilot is something that we're very much looking at.
Hey, jump to you.
A little different, so David didn't have a chance to introduce himself. We did earlier. I just wanted to introduce him. Good. It has been a pleasure. I mean that, working with Senator Dave Rader. He and I were freshmen together, but ladies and gentlemen, he is a hard worker. He's working hard. He's listening. He's asking questions, and it's just been an honor to work with him. He's your senator. You're in good hands. That's all I want to say.
Wow. All right.
We'll give we're going to bronze.
All right.
So that ain't had to divide. I'm just glad that Dave Rader wrote in the Senate.
Yeah, gentlemen, I'm going to try to fuse a couple of questions that are very, very similar. When I'm able to get my loved one into a psych hospital, they just discharge him or her in a few days, and we're no better off. And many people find it impossible to get help for a mentally ill loved one until they commit a crime. And this first person said they've given up on involuntary hospitalization for this reason. Now he or she is back home, and we're afraid someone will get hurt. This revolving door policy, how will you change that situation?
I have a good friend of mine, she won't mind if I share this story. She might be watching on Facebook right here. Jackie DePillow. I've been helping her and her brother Jeff through a very, very similar scenario that you just mentioned. And she and her mother have been crying out for help for their brother. We're trying to find ways to help them. But unfortunately, the way the deck is stacked right now is against them. And I don't understand that, Michael. I get the question. I don't understand why the current policy is like this. And the analogy I would use would be, imagine if you're about ready to have a heart attack and you're showing all the symptoms. You go to the hospital and they say, well, we can't treat you because you don't have a heart attack yet. That makes absolutely no sense at all. If somebody showed these signs, these symptoms, and they're crying out for help, dear Lord, let's help them out.
I'm going to jump in here next. One of the words that I'm hearing a lot and I'm focusing on a lot is the idea of holistic. And that is that you got to look at the entire problem. The other encouragement I'm taking is to I'm hearing people say it, and I'm saying it to anybody that will listen, and that is early intervention. Early intervention in anything, but early intervention in a mental health context and not in the penal system.
I would say that during 780 and 781, the state of Oklahoma took a very strong position, 62% on each issue, which is massive. Massive, one of the largest state question passing by margins in the last 30 years. I think only surpassed by maybe the alcohol bill. The alcohol referendum was 66%, and the death penalty was higher than that. But outside of those two issues, it was higher than anything we voted on as a people in 30 years. And so the people have spoken, and the people want us to see us doing more treatment and rehabilitation rather than punitive punishment. And I think the House of Representatives took an absolutely horrible vote today when we voted to reverse what the people voted in November. It's not like this was something that was voted 20 years ago. This was 4 or 5 months ago. And sadly, it passed by one vote in the House of Representatives, and it's on its way over to the state Senate. But when the people speak, almost at the 2-to-1 margin, that we need to be rehabilitating rather than filling up our jails on low-level crimes. That's why we have more women incarcerated in the state of the union. I think that we should lean on the people's side and not think that we know better than that.
Serving the state of Oklahoma is a true joy, a true honor. Probably the most disappointing part of the job so far has been learning of the great needs of mental health in our state. I'm on the board of John 316. We deal with many homeless people. John 316 does an incredible job. From that, I've learned you all live in a great town of giving. I think you know that. But within this inner circle of a huge circle of philanthropic help, it are group after group after group after group that helps people with mental illnesses. The sheriff does not hate the people of Tulsa. The sheriff works with people like John 316. John 316 works with Family and Children's Services. Bruce, we are very fortunate to have that. And one of the most, after being so disappointed, one of the things that encouraged me, when I went to the state, is how open the state is into working with not-for-profits that help in all aspects, especially in mental health. Even the faith-based group that's located also wants to do the same thing. The state says, if you're helping people, we want to visit with you. So that's been very, very encouraging. And realize this tonight, when you go to sleep, we will have spent in that 24 hours of March 9th, $975,000 again to incarcerate our homes. And then when you go to sleep tomorrow night, realize we have spent $975,000 to incarcerate our homes again. I have learned from the Mental Health Society that rehab, we can do it for about $14 a day. We, on an average, and I'm being conservative here, and Eric wants me to be conservative, okay? We're spending $25 a day on incarcerating Oklahomans. Okay? So that's $11 difference. As a conservative, that makes sense to me, because we're not taking as much of the people's money, and we're helping more people to do that. So we have to figure out those individuals who we're scared of, and those individuals that we're mad at, and go through this sentencing reform passed today, or whatever, I'm not sure. And somehow take back some of this that we're just mad at, reduce that because we're paying so much money, and then take these monies that are saved, and let's help people that can benefit from help. And let's do all we can to help them be taxpayers again.
Senator, you're right ahead because my next question segues right into that. And if you comment, go ahead and blend the two. Can a fiscal case be made? Financial case be made?
Yes.
That state intervention and treatment will cost less than local criminalization and incarceration.
Yes, and the three of us attended a very nice seminar this morning. We heard some people that are a lot smarter than me. I don't know if they're not smart as guys. Okay. And
Our friends from the Manhattan Institute and the coaches.
This was their theme this morning, was talking with us about, well, they got really deep, they went way into the weeds. You know, Joe looked at me, we were sitting across from each other, he saw, that glazed look on my face again, and Joe just said, come on, hang in there. But they were talking about, we had to get this thing of intent, and Scott, you understand a lot better than I do, but anyway, it's talking about this reform, and we can do this, and it will save our state a lot of money, because our peace officers do a wonderful job, but they do not want to be mental health agents. They don't, and they shouldn't be. They don't want to be there. But that's what we do through court cases that judges have ruled. Kind of put a little more pressure on them, and then you all know it a lot better than I do. But yes, to answer your question, yes, I'm firmly convinced. Let's find out who we're mad at. Let's see if we go through some sentencing reform. Let's call it smart on crime, because it's going to be very, very difficult for me to run as a conservative, and people say, well, you're soft on crime. And I say, no, I'm smart on crime. We have to learn the difference between that. And that's the people that we're mad at. And we can save a lot of money there because we're doing $9.75 a day. And I don't think that's a wise use of money. And we learned this morning too. I'm just talking. Don't do the politician. That in Great Britain, they're doing 180 persons out of 100,000 in prison. In Australia, they're doing, what they say, 160 persons through 100,000 in prison. In the United States, we're at 70-50 per 100,000. Okay, we need this reform. We need this reform.
Anyone else?
Well, and David, this question and the question that the pastor asked, you and I have had a couple of long talks about this, and I'm not fully educated, so be prepared for that. But that is the intake process. Where you're going back just a little. Your question is that you don't get the right people in the right place or the right facility under our current system. I understand that we have in Tulsa County we have one of the state's best mental health courts, but we have a lot of work to do to make sure that the statutes line up with the needs of the people that are supposed to be served. So I really do think that you cannot make a fiscal case for our present system.
I see Eric grabbing his mic too.
I agree more with what you just said. And on the bill that was made today, the rollback provisions 780 and 781, there was an argument made on the floor by Representative Williams of Stillwater that when the Koch brothers and the ACLU agreed that there's money savings, there's probably something to it. We got proof on that both ends of the spectrum to agree. And somebody out there said private prisons, and we were 145% right, that we've got state contracts with private prisons that they have to have 95+% of their beds filled, or something close to that number. We should be investing in the Oklahoma Department of Corrections rather than private prisons. We should be doing that along with reform
It's been estimated that about 70% of our incarcerated population has a mental health disorder. And we've already talked about how much cheaper it is to treat that in facilities by incarceration force. But there's another aspect that is rarely brought up that also impacts the fiscal scenario, David. And that is, when you send somebody to prison and they really shouldn't be there, guess what that tends to happen, what can happen from there? That person is much more likely than to get involved with crime. My brother's an attorney. He's telling me that prisons are known as crime schools. Because guess what happens? You go there, with whom are you hanging out all day long? Somebody who may have been a violent offender who really should be there, and he or she is telling you all the secrets, all the things that they know how to do, how to identify a user, how to get a scripted system, how you can cheat the system. And if you're hearing that all...
That's a networking opportunity.
But the point being, though, is that we can actually exacerbate the situation. We can make it worse. Send people who should not be in prison to learn to do crime, they get out, and they go do more bad things. So this is only exponentially harming the situation now.
We're going to go into a lightning round now, so 30 seconds, guys, each of you, and Michael has the next question.
Sure, we can do it in 30 seconds.
Good. I know you can.
How will you all protect the budget of Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services?
Next question is for thinking about it, right? And I'm not sure that it's protecting any one fiefdom. As a matter of fact, that's one of my worries. Now, getting the right money to the right aspects of mental health is important. But if you deal, I think Eric is probably down there smiling. He's here with 3 Republican freshmen. I'm sure this is, I'm glad that he's leaving a lot of things unsaid.
Joe's kind of a turd.
But you hear from the Department of Education, and they want their budget protected. You hear from higher ed, they want their budget protected. You hear from everybody, they want their budget protected. So that's why I went the route that I went. We need, again, this word holistic. We got to make sure that we don't just continue to make the same mistakes.
Representative Proctor and I have been working on a bill also to review tax credits every 3 years. We see that there's a lot of waste being handed out in our corporate areas. Not all this waste, but there's a lot of waste. My friends, Oklahoma offers $2 billion a year in business tax incentives. You can't tell me that $2 billion of that, all of that is purely 100% needed, etc. There's got to be a lot of waste in that area. You and I are working very diligently to find those areas. I think we can carve out a lot so that we can provide for our core services such as mental health and substance use.
We had analyzed, as I spoke about earlier, we've had agencies that have taken 40% cuts over the last few years. The legislators went into those agencies and they cut everything they could possibly cut. You know what they haven't done? They haven't went over across the board of the corporate tax incentives and tax credits. So that should be a priority in both political parties this session. To go in and make sure that those $2.5 billion in tax credits are analyzed. And also, I personally think, you guys don't have to comment on this, but I think the oil and gas industry should be paying as much taxes as they pay. You and I pay 5%. Sounds fair. They pay 7%, in Texas they pay 11%. North Dakota, they should be at least paying 5% here, which is what we do.
Thank you.
Dave?
How much are they?
Right now, I think 2% for 36 months and 7% there.
36 months is for that well. If they go dig the well, 36 months long.
Well, it stays here, it goes to 7%.
National average is like 10%. So if we just went to 5%,
Commissioner, as
I would be interested in how you did whenever we vote on that.
Yeah.
Well, this is a mental health forum, though. We're going to have mental health.
back to the question, I'm going to see what Senator Newhouse and Representative Proctor gave us. No, that was supposed to be there. I'm anxious to see how this works. I've been there 5 weeks. We're 800 million short. People are going to be cut.
Except the oil.
It's going to
Why did they move these?
We need to take control of
Do we have another question? All right. Let's go on to the next question. Tulsa Center for Behavioral Health Services. Those who have no other options, no insurance, little to no income, and the homeless for inpatient treatment. Have you ever seen the facility? Have any of you guys toured the facility or the state facility? And this is actually coming from Leah. Leah is our executive director of the Tulsa State Center for Behavioral Health. Glad to have her here. Yeah, she's actually invited you, if I understand right.
The purpose of my question is to invite you because I've worked there for 11 years and I've never met any of you. I've never seen you in the building. Obviously, we've not been politicians maybe that long or whatever, but I would like to invite you because the facility is in very, very poor condition. And it's people that you're talking about not incarcerating. Many of them, if they came out of incarceration, would be served by my agency. And it's not up to where it's
And I can echo what she's saying. President Baker and I just toured. Leah gave us a great tour. Fantastic. We took a lot of time. Tulsa Center for the old doctor's hospital. Yeah. And so
it's Tulsa's public inpatient treatment facility for adults.
Will you give me the truth?
Anytime.
Yes.
All right.
It's less than half a mile.
Thank you, Leah.
I've not been. Be willing to go on the same floor with me.
I'd love to go have thank Kim Rome, our Tulsa City Council, and come with us as well. And I think it's so important to have
I'd like
somebody.
you to come soon after having visited the beautiful, new, shiny mental health pods at the jail.
Yes.
You will notice a very good
But
Yeah,
it's so
because-
important, like after incarceration, we have to have a structured plan to help those people who have completed their sentencing to get reintegrated back into society. It's so important. Like back in the old days, just I remember today, here's $20 and good luck to you. We cannot do that. We've got to have good facilities. We've got to have a good plan to get them back into society.
That's
the
going to
right
be
thing.
difficult when there's not enough money to provide medication for every client that comes to you when you're limited on the amount of treatment that you can do because of the money available for that treatment. And so it just trickles down. I mean,
We've got one more question here. We're going to go ahead with it, and I appreciate you being attentive to it.
Okay, veterans have risked their lives for national security. What should the state of Oklahoma do to ensure that veterans get the care they need and deserve, particularly those who suffer from PTSD and other mental health challenges?
I believe that we need to have veterans treatment courts in all 77 counties in our state. Tulsa has a model program, so much so that other states and other cities, I should say, have come to visit Tulsa to learn from us and actually have like internships, so to speak. Like Buffalo, New York came by to see how Tulsa does it. And so the Tulsa model is being replicated all across the country. I want to see this same Tulsa model be replicated all across the state. Don't get me wrong, there's some counties that are more sparsely populated. We can still have dockets available, like diversionary dockets that treat mental health docket, veterans treatment court docket, drug court docket, etc. And so I think that from a statewide perspective, we should be much more prolific in helping to encourage that area.
Couldn't agree with you more. One of my best friends, Matt Snyder, helped implement that, and he's going to try to implement it nationally. He worked at the White House as the president of all. So also has had a very good legacy with that effort nationwide. The state as a whole is not doing a good job. on credits. And our party will work with your party, and we'll make Oklahoma a wonderful place that we can restore the American dream again for tens of thousands of families, regardless of whether it's mental health or it's education or public safety or infrastructure.
I think that's a good place to end it. Okay? It has reached 8 o'clock, and since it's date night for Eric and his beautiful bride, we figure we'll invest in his marriage. Okay, yeah. He's continuing his bipartisan practices the rest of the evening. I want to thank all of you. We have got a bunch of questions here, and we're going to probably be helping get another town hall meeting going over in Oklahoma City with some of the legislatures, so you can say you survived it, gentlemen. And, but we're going to probably be passing some of these questions over to them. I want to introduce to you the president of Nami, Tulsa, for some final announcements, Dave Rader.
Thank you. Really, you need to acknowledge your guest here this evening. So, indeed, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
There are so many questions, and I'm going to encourage you guys out there. There's a lot of good ones. Some of them are too specific for this evening, but I want to encourage you guys to get those questions answered. Okay?
Yes.
Whether you communicate with your state representative or state senator or a group or whatever, just follow up. Okay? There's good questions. There's just so many of them we couldn't address them all. So, all right. Having said that. Nami is a nonprofit organization, and we have to raise money, okay? And one of the things we do is to do Nami walks, okay? And they'll be in June, okay? And there's information back on the table there about that if you want to participate and raise money for Nami, okay? So please think about that and do that. Now, I'm going to introduce one other person here. Dr. Richard Wansley with the Mental Health Association of Oklahoma. He has something he wants to tell you about, all right?
Thank you.
All right.
I want to call your attention. These lawmakers who've been here tonight, I really appreciate all they've had to say and their contributions that they're making. And I know, as well as Janet and others who've worked out at the Capitol on a fairly regular basis, how tough it is with all the varied issues that you have to be dealing with at one time, and how the system sometimes doesn't always play nice in terms of independent thinking. But I appreciate all that you've demonstrated tonight, so thank you so much for being here from my perspective as well. What I want to make a very brief announcement about is we've talked a lot tonight about some of the short look, if you will, of what needs to be happening immediately this fiscal year and next fiscal year. The Mental Health Association, which I'm